I mean, so much so as a cheerleader, you were sending out things on ERG letterhead saying Truss is the person to back, even when there were more Eurosceptic people in the race. So to begin, give us your pitch. Why Liz Truss?
Well, firstly, because I believe she is more robust on Europe. I mean, we've got two good candidates. The job of the parliamentary party was to narrow it down to two credible prime ministers. I believe we've done that. But the question is, which is the best of the two? And I think it's Liz. One, because I believe she's more robust on Europe than Rishi. We can go into that. Two, I'm attracted to her tax-cutting agenda. You know, I want to vote for low-tax Truss, not high-tax, Sunak. Thirdly, I believe she'll be more robust in terms of defence and foreign policy than Rishi, because I think he's boxed in by Treasury orthodoxy. She'll be more robust on Russia. She'll be more robust on China. One of her biggest backers, the chairman of her campaign, is Ian Duncan Smith, who, of course, has been sanctioned by the Chinese, one of a handful of British MPs to have that, quotes, honour. And I also, as a former councillor, and there's a lot of councillors in the Tory party, I'm pleased to say, I'm very attracted to her policy of abolishing what she calls these Stalinist top-down housing targets that force local authorities to build so many houses within their boundaries in a given time, irrespective of whether or not the local infrastructure can cope with it. So there's four, I hope, solid reasons. Yeah.
Well, let's just have a look at one or two of those.
Yeah.
I mean, tax is going to dominate this debate, but for now, the big focus is on the cross-channel trade and on China, and I'm guessing on the BBC tonight those issues will come up. On illegal migration across the channel, she's much weaker than Sunak. I mean, what she has said is she will increase border force staff by 20%. Do you know what, Mark? You can double it, treble it, quadruple it. You can put the Royal Navy in the channel. It makes no difference whatsoever if those, once they've crossed the line, are brought into Dover and no one gets returned. She has not got any credible policy to deal with this.
Well, I serve on the House of Commons Defence Committee. It's an all-party committee. We recently produced a report on putting the Navy in the Channel. We said one of the problems is it just means we're more efficient at picking the people up. So no, I'm just saying the Defence Committee agrees with that. Where I think Liz is right is she said we need to make better use of the arrangements we have with Rwanda. Why haven't we done that yet? You know full well it's because the European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg interfered with that process. The flights were good to go. I personally think we should reject that interference. In the long term...
Oh, I know you do, but it's Liz Truss I'm talking about.
Well, if this crops up tonight, I'm not, pretending to be the future Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. I'm sure it'll crop up tonight and see what she says. Suella Braverman, one of her strongest allies, she's prepared to countenance leaving the ECHR. And I'm hopeful. There's going to be in September a new Bill of Rights bill, which Dominic Raab is overseeing.
Yeah, I know.
No, hang on. You've asked, that it may be that via that bill we can legally shut the ECHR out of this decision and then get the flights going. I'd like the flights to start tomorrow.
But Rwanda have said they only have room for 200 people, not the tens of thousands that Boris Johnson told us at that speech in Lid Airport.
Well, I think that number can certainly be improved upon. I think one of the reasons the Rwandans have hesitated is because of what's happened with regard to the ECHR judgment. My understanding is what was negotiated was beyond that. But here's what I think the problem is, Nigel, is when people voted to take back control, I think they thought that meant that the European Union and European judges would stop interfering in our daily life, whether it was the European Court of Justice.
Absolutely.
Right, okay, the man in the pub thought, I'm voting to get rid of this.
And they're angry.
I understand that.
I'm going to watch very carefully what she says tonight on this debate. Now, one of the consequences, of course, of tens of thousands of people now coming illegally every year is they're being housed in hotels all over the country. And GBNews revealed a hotel in your constituency, the Chichester Hotel, was, on the fast track to being one of those hotels. And you intervened in the House of Commons and said this.
I have attempted via my office to contact the owners of the Chichester Hotel on multiple occasions to seek urgent answers to these very alarming suggestions. Yet they continue to ignore requests for clarity and answers from me as the locally elected MP and indeed from the local and now even national press. Given all of this, I have requested an urgent meeting next week with the Minister for Immigration, in which I will seek to ascertain the exact details of these initial proposals, alongside taking an opportunity in my usual understated manner, Mr Deputy Speaker, to raise my objections face to face.
So you're doing it a bit as an MP, saying it's not the right place, it doesn't fit, there are lots of schools in the air, all the things that MPs say. But Mark, your government has allowed all these people in. We've got to put them somewhere.
Well, as I said in the Commons, fundamentally, we need to stop the cross-channel trade. You and I both know. I mean, let's call you.
We all know that.
Yeah,
we all know that. Well, what I'm saying to you is, neither candidate for your party, who's going to be the next Prime Minister, is offering any solutions that will work. That's my point.
Well, I think the Rwandan solution will work, Nigel, if we can get the European judges out of the way. I think it can work if it's given a chance. Look, this is a vile trade. These people are utterly heartless. They don't care if people drown in the Channel. It's all about the money. We as a nation are being morally blackmailed, and I don't think we should be morally blackmailed by anybody. So if we can solve that problem and get the flights going, we don't need the accommodation at the Chichester Hotel, which is completely ill-suited, and then we don't need it anywhere else. And you've told me before, you've been around the country, and there's just as much anxiety wherever you go.
Oh, yes.
Not just, I mean, you know, I've been inundated with emails and telephone calls.
Oh, you go to the northeast, the northwest, it's everywhere.
Right,
yeah.
so we are in...
It will cost you the next election.
Well, in terms of needing to stop these cross-channel migrants, then I think you and I are in what the Americans would call violent agreement, if I can use that phrase.
You can. Well, I'm going to be watching tonight at 9 o'clock, your preferred candidate and the other one too. Funny, isn't it? As it's so easy to cross the Channel illegally, it's been very difficult over the weekend, having paid lots of money to Eurostar, or go on a ferry to cross the Channel the other way.